This Thursday, Throne of Liberty gets its next big update with 12-man raids and new legendary gear. We did get a developer video which covers some interesting points with the new raid and its rewards. I have summarized those right here. However, we also have the Korean patch notes, which gives us a ton of extra details, including the exact stats the certain weapons are going to have, the armor too, along with the visuals, which is super cool. We also have info on the new Archbosses that will be happening, a new variant of Belandir and Tevent with a different time frame, and new Archboss weapons. You will be able to craft them with the first tier Archboss weapons. There is then also the longbow improvements with some other balance changes like spear nerfs and dagger nerfs. And there's also some Boonstone buffs. There will even be tradable chaos rune chests that you can get from trials. You'll be able to sell them and I guess make a bunch of lucent for people who don't want to farm them. But let's go into all the details you need to know about this upcoming 12-man raid and the new changes that come with it. So starting out with the obvious. Yes, you will need 12 players. However, it will very nicely have checkpoints after the different bosses. There are 3 bosses, this being the first here. Then you have the set of fire and ice, with finally Calanthea as that end boss. You will be able to random queue for the normal mode. There are 3 difficulty tiers, with Nightmare coming in August, the 3rd difficulty. Each boss will give some rewards, like this first one here, giving these ingredients. These are upgrade materials you will need. Going on hard difficulty will probably just give a little bit of extra materials. But then you go to the second boss, you can see the rewards change a little bit, and it's pretty much just the Amatoys here. But the final boss, when you actually beat Calanthea, that's when you will get the legendary stuff. So you have the weapons, you have the armor, you even have a chance at a selection chest. And what's really good is it's guaranteed you will obtain one of the weapons or one of the armor pieces. And even if you get duplicates of these armor pieces, you will be able to convert them to appearance. And when you apply 5 or more appearance items, you will get a special visual effect. Be aware there's a hard limitation. You can only wear 1 unique weapon and 1 unique armor piece. They don't really talk about accessories, but they should be coming in the Nightmare difficulty that again will only release in August. So this is great. Guaranteed rewards. If you beat hard, you get 2 guaranteed rewards. Then we jump to the details with the legendary weapons. It is said at their base level, level 0, they will already match our level 12 tier 2 equipment. You can see all of the stats here of each of the different weapon types. And in the Korean patch notes, they're listed here too. You can slide this to the side and these are the different stats here. Skill is dexterity, fighting spirit is strength, insight is perception. It will have random stats, but you will actually be able to change those stats at a big cost. 200 unlock stones and 800 trait conversion stones with 30 entropy shards. The entropy shards are these here, which I believe they also call them soul shards. Again, you can see them displayed on the bottom left. You need 30 of them. But this opens up a ton of customization. In terms of the armor pieces, they didn't show it, but I assume you can also change the random stats on those to whatever you wish. The cost will probably be less as well. But what's special about the weapons is that you can choose what skill bonus you want on them. We have learnt of this in the past, but yes, you will obtain your weapons, tier 2 or tier 1 Archboss, and you extract those skill bonuses, those skill cores. Now the great thing is that these are persistent. You will be able to put them, imprint them on your legendary weapon, and once you do so, you will have the option to change it at some point. Of course at a cost, but you don't lose the imprint that you obtained. So you can simply collect imprints, and then when you decide to change your build, you will be able to do so. Now of course you'll need to upgrade these. So you'll need new growth stones, and they will not use the current ores. They will need chaos crystals and are magic powder. You will craft those, getting the crystals when you beat up the bosses here. Every week you can do normal and hard, and each of the 3 bosses will give those. We will still have to wait at the exact amounts and how long this will take. And you can see upgrading a weapon starts out only needing, say, 1 of those growth stones. We don't know the maximum level. It could well be 12 of these as well. It will still have the intermediate, greater, special and common upgrade chances. Again, each of these equipments will drop with random stats, and you can spend some unlock stones and trade conversion stones along with entropy shards to convert that to your desired trait. Like you see here, getting back attacks, attack speed, more attributes. And as you see here, weapons have 2 different stats you'll be able to change. 2 are by default, as again you can already see in the Korean patch notes here. Slide this over, and these are all the fixed stats, with then again 2 random stats which you can change. Armor again having fixed stats, but then 3 random stats you'll be able to change. You'll only be using 1 armor piece, and you'll be only using 1 weapon. So yes, it seems like a pretty big cost, but it'll be something you will do over time. Finally, they will have normal traits, but then a special 4th trait. You can see that here. This heroic trait allows you to simply gain more attribute points, needing 600 unlock stones though, and another 30 of those entropy shards. But that was it for the summary of that dev video. If we jump back to the patch notes, we can see a few additional details, but not really much more in terms of that new gear. The raid itself will have the ability to use these special raid attack skills. It will depend on what weapons you're using, and there is a bit of a pity system in the normal difficulty. If all members die, then you will get a star fragments resolution effect, where you will increase your attack power and health. This can accumulate to a total of 10 stages, so you can probably get to a point where you just can't fail. But the entry point is 5,000 combat power. Going to expert difficulty, you need 6,000 combat power. And here you will have 2 phases. They will be adding a bit of a side story with a new codex. And again, you can read through those details as they have them here in the Korean patch notes with regards to all that legendary new gear. You can see the visuals of it, same with the armor, and it looks super sick. I wonder who will be the first to get a full set. It would probably cost a lot to convert it to illusions though. There will be a bit of a store, like a pity system, if you say are not dropping what you want. I would be careful with that though, as you will need that currency again for say unlocking and converting different traits and stats on your gear. I don't know why they blur the costs in the Korean post here, but we've just seen all those costs already from the global dev post. Again, having that skill extracting, allowing you to choose which ones you have extracted and put that on your weapon at a cost of what looks like these skill core engraving books. But then the new Archbosses, like Flame Queen Belandir and Flame Tevent, they'll be having, but they'll be at Tuesday and at Saturday at these times. It may very well be a bit different for us, but they should bring new Archboss weapons. Basically just upgraded versions of the current ones. They're listed here with the attack range, the damage, offhand attack damage, block chance and offhand attack chance, and then all of the stats. It will probably be easier to view them in game when they actually release, and then it appears they have the same skill effects. You can read through all of them right there. Like the Tevent wand is still going to have Hunger of Tevent with that. Still just 35% basic damage per second for 30 seconds. You will obtain these by crafting them, and you will have to use your tier 1 Archboss weapon along with the materials you get by beating up those bosses. The exact amounts we'll have to see. They are making a change to the siege and tax delivery, basically so that you get siege every 2 weeks as normal, and tax delivery will happen just before it at the same day. That way inter-server siege is the next week, rather than staggering these events over 3 weeks, and thus the average player would only get siege every 3 weeks. Now it will be back to every 2 weeks. Looking at some weapon changes, longbow right here, this looks like Flash Wave is getting a radius increase, the ability to reduce ranged evasion of your targets, and a cooldown reduction too, a damage buff, and change to ensure a hit. I believe it's your ensnaring arrow that's getting a boost of 40% against thunderbound targets, and healing touch is getting an interesting change. You can slot a new specialization to basically make it give you a damage boost. You will be giving up that heal over time, again for a damage boost. You will also take a penalty of a movement speed reduction. I believe this will apply to all your attacks, but of course we'll need to test it. They're also changing the mastery. This will give you a base damage boost if you alternate between different types of skills. So I assume using an attack skill, or a control skill, or a survival skill. Again, we'll have to test how that exactly works. Just a bug fix here for the greatsword, and also a fix to the eagle vision on the crossbow. Then for spear, it's called Do Island, but this is your Phoenix Barrage. It's getting a pretty big nerf from 91% to 73%. Again, this is a 10 hit ability, but it's getting that buff, so it still be about the same amount of damage in PvE. Then chainsaws, they put it here. This is your Explosive Fury. It's also getting a damage nerf. They give it a buff for PvE, so it should be about the same amount of damage, but you can see from 360 down to 288. Then looking at the dagger, Thunderclad Bombing is going from a 15% damage boost against monsters to a 40%. However, the actual damage hit is going from 260, as we see here, down to a 213. And additionally, if you attack from behind, that's also getting nerfed. Along with per poison stack on Brutal Incision, that's also getting nerfed. For the staff, it's simply just a tooltip update for inner peace here with that lightning specialization, fixing Ray of Disaster on the wand. They are then changing up a bunch with the Boonstones, so you can gain some extra stats here. If you're a guild, you might want to capture those for these benefits, just to be aware of the changes. And then we have tradable Chaos Rune boxes. They'll come from Trials, Solo Dungeon on Extreme Difficulty, and also Field and Archbosses. And then there were some fixes here with like War Games, Nebula Island, The Party, quick slots, and some UI options, with the ability to place numbers on people, not just those colored symbols. I hope this summarizes everything we know so far. Again, more details when this patch actually gets pushed out, and especially tomorrow, we should be able to actually see this already on the Korean server. They won't be getting access to the raid until we do on Thursday, so we'll all be able to experience that together. But I assume they'll get implemented, like the weapons in the crafting menu having the NPCs, we can check those out. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Some new gear to chase for. Don't go complaining about the grind. It will of course take a long time, especially because we're time gated by only being able to do that raid like once per week per difficulty. It's intended, it's the pinnacle endgame. It will take you a while of playing the game. You can't just rush it by paying either. So many thanks to all my channel members for your extra support. Thank you for watching, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. And if this was somewhat helpful, consider leaving the video a like. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.